and that's why I said it wasn't much different in making a. I mean, you know what? Like with this film, like I said, you either love it or you hate it. You either get it or you don't. It's definitely not for everybody. But the thing is, the interesting thing is, you know, we have so many people like around the world that absolutely love this movie, and there's a lot of people that's like, oh, this is brilliant, this is genius, this is this, and we love it. It's in one of my top favorite films of the year, and all this stuff. And then you get the haters, and the thing is with the haters, it's also split between two, because it's either, they're not in the target market and they're like, I don't get it, I hate it, I don't understand it. And then there's the other side of the haters, which is like, this is not my cup of tea, but I can appreciate it for this and this and this.
Oh, yeah.
And it's definitely like a cult film, and I can see why people are saying that and blah, 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 and all that. But the thing is, the difference between the people that love it and hate it is dramatically different, because somebody that loves this and will give this type of movie a chance is interesting because they get so much more out of it. So like somebody could watch this film, one of the haters, and be like, there's no story in it. It's not like a proper narrative story. There's not that much story, and they think it's pointless. But then the people that love it, they see the story's simple, and it's not about the story. It's about the journey and the experience. That's what it's designed to do, is to take you on this, journey. And then those people will see that there's a lot of heart in the movie, and see that, I'm showing the dark side of humanity and the craziness of a society around us. And we're the ones that are crazy, and it's not the alien. And, there's a lot of depth or like character arc, going into it. So going back to your question, it's really like, almost like, it's not that I haven't learned anything from this, but it's just like, who you're making the movie for. And that's what I always knew. Like, if it was the 12, the 10, 11-year-old Ryan from back in the day, like if this came out, I would have loved this movie. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's, know who you're making it for. And it doesn't mean, like, yes, I made this movie for me, but I also made it for all those, kids that used to love all the, the 80s films, and it's all those fanboys and fangirls. And, there's so many Easter eggs in this movie that people pick up on, from 80s cinema. And there's so much, there's so much in this movie. So I think just know your, know who you're making the movie for. And that matters like so much. And just think out the box and try and make something different, something that we haven't seen. And I could have easily chose one of those other scripts, and I'm so happy that I chose this film. And I never ever would have thought that this film would be my first film. So I'm happy that I made that decision.
Yeah. And I've seen tons of weird, quote unquote, weird cinema, whatever, weird movies, including a lot of the stuff from the 80s, because I grew up in the 80s. And Fried Berry, sure, it is weird and bizarre, but like it's still got that heart behind it that makes you want to care for the characters, whereas that doesn't always happen. You have some movies where it's just like, oh, it's weird scene after weird scene, and like you don't really care about what's going on. But I felt for Fried Berry, like I felt for all the characters. I felt like that was a little bit of a difference between that and some of the other stuff that's like, oh, it's weird and bizarre, and I remember this, but maybe for the wrong reasons. But Fried Berry, I cared,
Yeah. But that's the thing. I mean, like when the movie starts and you see Barry, and he's just this bastard character, and he's horrible, and it's almost like, oh, how are we going to like this guy?
Yeah.
And then he's an alien. He's a nicer guy. He's a nicer person, and you end up feeling for him. And that's why, like when it comes to like his wife's thinking, oh, look, this guy's really trying. But it's the alien,
Right.
Oh, this guy's really really trying, and that's the funny thing about it, and that's why like you said, you end up feeling for him, like when he gets beaten up and you're like, oh no, like and when it's time for him to go home, it's very much like that E.T. ending where it's like, say your goodbyes, and he has to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.